Hey, listen, I want to say to everyone in the listening audience that this is a special time. May the Most High bless you all. And I send you all my love for I and love personified. Feel me. I feel you. With nothing but divine love. I send it to you now. Across the wire. Stronger than time and space. For space and time does not exist and or have the power to stand against it. And there is no word stronger than the word love. And ours is a divine love of the highest caliber. Excellence. Exuberating through the experience of it all, in the all, of which you all are indeed a part. Standing together, no matter the weather, winter, spring, summer, and fall, though none will fall into love ever again. Because to fall is to introduce a direction that does not belong to thee. Many have fell into love before, and then you wonder why you end up hurt. Well, if you want to limit your pain, limit your pleasure. And if you want to maximize your joy, you must, without question, embrace thy pain. Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy belong to you, belong to us all. And in this time that has a name called now, but within their main frame, called in time, will no longer remain for long, you know, because we will get back to the beginning of time again. Family, no longer just friends, reclaiming that which was, is, and always will be yours. I love you is a word that must be said. Hear it said, and without question, you would have already heard that which is the most powerful reverberation that is resonating through a vibration that carries color, many colors, seen all at one time, colors that have yet to be named, colors of the royal family of mind. This is a sacred day, as so also was the shadow hour that has now come to pass. And without question and or reason to doubt, there are always two witnesses, or at least someone who can give testimony. In the shadow hour, my wife will do us the honor. Hashabah. Speak to me. Come. Explain Was it not so that just a minute ago, indeed, it came a text to the brother?
Yes.
And indeed, the minute it occurred, when did it occur? And what did you see me do?
You pushed the button and made me verify that, yes, he did receive it.
Now, at the second I touched the button to enter into the means by which I can let Bodie know I was on the line, the brother received the text. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. And we text starts with the number T, you see, and T, or should I say the letter T, and T, you see, is a connector. Ah, such excellent, you know. Excellent need, the highest caliber, perfection, permanent, precise, also nice. For it is we who are also nice with everything we do and everything we say. Precise. Whatever we don't get in the wash, we'll get in the rest. Yes, sir, Billy and Bob, they're friends of mine. Figure it out. Figure it out. Hey. Or should I say, like a fax machine. Doing it, man. You know. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Right now. In this right now situation, many Nubian children are to be born. A new being having 3 X chromosomes amongst the female, 2 X chromosomes amongst the Y. And never ask why, just ask, how did he know? Hey! That is only step 1 of a 3-part plan. None can stand against it, none can deny and or frustrate the plan of the Most High. And none will make it to the Father except by way of me. For indeed, no real leader wants to lead, and nor did I. I asked, as I was told, 2,000 years ago, prior to coming through the birth canal. And it's told to me, you will suffer great pain. You will suffer and feel pain in places that many will not ever know. And I said, why me? And they said, get thee down. Well, in this life, as memory came to be restored in me, you know, completely. Oh, what a beautiful feeling and or experience to remember such a fine and glorious story of this family of mine. For indeed, we are a reincarnation of people. Meaning embodiment after embodiment after embodiment after embodiment. Many of you, without question, this is not your first rodeo, and nor is it your first ride in a car with a particular design whose doors are locked. Watching the ride through the windows of thy car, called thy eyes, knowing it to be true that indeed this is a special car. And why? Because its doors are locked and you cannot get out until the ride is over. And why? For you signed on the dotted line and chose thee thy parents, saying, I want to be shot through that shaft and come through that canal, and in that car I can get it done. Without question, I am the elder who signed thy papers. And he or she who is meant to be with me will attract to me like pieces of steel to a magnet, pieces of steel to a magnet, pieces of steel to a magnet, and none will forget to forgive. To forgive. To forgive. Standing for and not against giving divine love, which is why I will say, now go out and love as you know that I love you. For it is we who have taken care of you as often as you needed a suit. And it is we that diminish the need in any situation found its way to reach you at that second, that very moment. It is so also we who laid and will continue to lay the provision for you. Meaning, what you need has always been provided for you by El Razak, the provider of it all. And it is we who also give you the provision, which is the professional eye, the one that sees all. For it is they who has mastered the difference between looking and seeing, and sometimes seeing with your eyes closed and only by virtue of your ears, knowing also and mastering it too, the difference between listening and actually hearing. For indeed, they say our legacy was recorded on the walls of ancient, what they call Egypt. But without question, so also you have a text here in the shadow hour, spelled T-E-A. Listen, T-E-X. T-E-X. T-E-X, that's right. The very best coming to you with an understanding that will stand forevermore, that the tree is the connector, but tilted a little on the top, you know. Not right him straight, because damn the straight and bless the curve is what I say. As we travel along the circle's curve at top, spiraling upward, and never will it collapse like the professors at Harvard and Yale may want to say, those who only profess to know but know nothing at all, for they were only given an edited dictation to Poppy, who indeed in that life was a dear and beloved friend of my grandfather, who is Tahuti himself. And these Egyptologists of today, they've got it backwards and sideways and all, messed up. Because Trismegistus was not the Hermes of Tamaray. Trismegistus was the Greek who became known as Poppy. And only because Tahuti himself gave that name to his dear and beloved friend for having been made a mockery of by his very own. Meaning, they called him 3 times fat. And Tahuti didn't like that. He said, from this day forward, thy name shall be Poppy. And this is the same being who earned a name, for it is he who sat and ate large amounts of spinach and bread that had many poppy seeds. And in so doing this, earned the name he received. And it is he who only received an education of the great science of alchemy that was initially called, though he did not know and will not deny, that at that time, because that being is here alive, though he is in a wheelchair, and about 84 or 85, we'll bring him to the family dinner. To the family gathering, Poppy himself will speak. Yeah, that's right. Because we are a reincarnation, even those whom were adopted in. For whomever it is that we show love, we give this love to them, giving them a very gigantic and tremendous thing, a piece of ourselves, a piece of our very soul, which is why very shortly here now, you all will be able to read a book penned into life by my wife and I called Pieces of Peace that represent us all. Perfected, precise, powerful. Our love is so much so that the spoken word and or written one could not carry the weight thereof, for if indeed it attempted to do so, it would break the spoken word and or written words back. How powerful our love. However, many have forgotten and will be reminded in totality what real love is and always will be. And you might say, well, how is it that indeed we do not know? And I would say by being given an illegitimate opposite. For that which is can only be legitimized by that which is not, having been presented first. And without question, the means of childbirth, proper childbirth, will be reestablished. None of mine will be born into a room of pure white light, and the child will make the transition without even knowing that it has left the etheric realm. And the birth will not be abrupt. And the child, this peace will not be disturbed. From here, the order has now arrived and is coming to you all who have ears to hear. The child and their children to be born of you all, Nubian women, because in the shadow hour, the gates of heaven are now open. And the Agigi are coming now. And I speak, warriors, they are, of which you all will learn from. It is we who have designed the car that you all now ride in, being the evolutionary creatures that you are, moving up an evolutionary ladder by virtue of the things that you know versus the things you know not, establishing thy position and or where it is you sit and or stand on that ladder. And it is we who are your elders, of which I am number 13. I will tell you now that indeed every time you learn something new, a new responsibility has now become yours also. And this is so because then at that very second, at that very minute, at that very hour, Noah is also having the ability to respond to the need. So God, in love, as you know that I love you, which is a love that is endless. So says the cipher and what it represents. And know that inside the center of the square is not knowledge of all things, but indeed it is what sits in between that which is good and evil, that which is light and darkness, that which is God and the devil. And why those three things? Well, in their alchemy, they knew that they had to choose three things that all Nubian people would pay the most attention to. So they chose God and the devil being one category, good and evil being the next category, and light and darkness being the third. And you might say, well, what is he talking about? And after this shadow hour, you will be able to say that you heard the truth about childbirth, how it should be done, the truth about their alchemy and what they attempted to do, and the truth about you and who it is you are. Well, first, I will say this. In completion of what it is I just now spoke in reference to. Well, this is a three-dimensional world. You are within the body and or a car, body vessel, that you now drive are governed by the number 3. I'll prove it. Try to think of something that isn't a person, place, or thing. You will bust your brain. You can't do it. You have person, place, or thing, first category. Solid, liquid, gas, second category. Past, present, future, third category, which explains and defines and or solidifies and tells you everything in terms of that which has a name called the physical plane. And it is on the mental plane that everything occurs first, because first you must have visualization, and in this thereafter you can then establish manifestation, taking that from the mental plane and bringing it into a physical reality. It is the God in you which puts you in the image and after the likeness of us, who are thy elders, to which you heard a very definitive and definite and without question beautiful testimony of the beloved brother as he spoke eloquently in reference to his hummer. He like the hummingbird. Its wings, it flaps so fast, you know not if indeed he has wings while it's occurring, because you can't see them. You see, because all of this is happening so fast that you don't perceive it to be moving at all. That, how should I say, perspective of time is not accurate. For you do not see and or know that time is fleeting so very quickly that time has ran out a long time ago. And here it is, you sit and stand or hear, be it in whatever position and or in whatever place you may be. The words I speak in the now of it all, completely reminding you of the fan that spins. When you plug it in, it goes poof, 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 poof. And at first you see each individual blade. And what I will say to you all is if you can't be a tree, be a bush or be a blade of grass as long as you are on the lawn that is green and not in the red. figure it out. Manifestation belongs to you all, for it is the mandate of the God men who is second in the divine order of it all. With Anu being the first being the Most High God or deity. Anu himself. For first it was called alchemy. Then it was called Anu-chemy. Then it was called Men-chemy. Then it was called Tehuti. Come into me. And then it was called ATUN-RE. Come into me. And I stand fifth in line because it is I who hold the center seat that was attempted to be stolen by he who is Sananda. Because they produced a word which is another. A-N-O-T-H-E-R. And anytime you see the letter O, which is not a letter, you know, and anytime you see the number 0, which is not a number, you know, but is a symbol, there's a secret there, for it is the symbol of the cipher of which we who are stand in representation of. For as it is below, for as it is above, so also it is below. Like in Boaz, in that which is above and that which is below. You didn't know? Well, now you do. Well, there is a meeting place, and let me explain. Because X marks the spot. It is through the X chromosome that indeed you have compassion. And we are giving these newborns an extra dose. Like I said, the little girls will have 3 X chromosomes. And the little men shall have 2 X chromosomes and 1 Y. And you could ask how, you could ask when, you could ask where, you could ask what. But always know never to ask why of a senior Melchizedek, of which I am second in line. The Son of Righteousness, yes indeed, with healing in my wings, as so also they were and are and always will be in my Father. And none will make it to the Father except by way of me. And those who do wicked shall be burnt up, having neither root nor branch or fruits of a poisonous tree. And yes, indeed, this is a great and dreadful day. Look around you. Many of our people are now wearing dreads. Right in your face. Prophecy fulfilled. And no, this information and affirmation is coming to you, no, not from, the fake one. The real one, the real deal, Holyfield, you going to feel me on that even if you don't want to. You'll figure it out, I'm sure, because I am Yahshua, a sure shot. And no, I do not miss without question, because Anu sent to you the best love that we got. Personified, I have walked amongst you, looked and learned, and heard many things, and have been persecuted for righteous name's sake. Only because it is I who became the cause of change, being what is equivalently called the cornerstone and or catalyst, the being assigned to cause the domino effect and or ripple effect, and without question, you can ask now by questioning any who may think they know. Do men know? No. But now they do. Where the real Messiah is. Is he there, you know? They say, let no man deceive thee. It's what? Yeah, that's right. I said. And I said, so also, like in the days of Noah, so shall it be in a specific time frame that even has a name, which is right now called end time. Figure it out. So shall it be. Why? Because Noah sure knew what he was talking about. Because in that life, yes, indeed, as in you may know that indeed I am a, listen, significant reincarnation, as so also are many of you who are sitting out there listening to my voice. But I am not the significant other. Because another is abbreviation for Anu, A-N-U-C. And then you have other, which, listen, we belong to a divine order. It is what keeps your planets from bumping into each other. It is we who have established each and every one of their orbital tracks. And it's a fact. And I tell you now, all of you, sister and brother, that no one gives orders for life and death other than Anu. No one gives orders for blessings to come down other than Anu. These things are penned into law by his hand. So there is a governmental structure in your heavenly skies as it is here on your blue rock. But no, we have not a Congress, because that is to go backwards. That is not progress. We have a progress. And then we have a Senate, not a Senate. And then we have the office of Anu himself. There is not one thing that is occurring on this physical plane that indeed his pen has signed into order, by way of his order. And no, those were not commandments, because command comes from the word, watch. Command comes from the word ko, which means to man meant. To be involved in the same-sex sexual act called homosexuality. No. You should know, because indeed it says, thy first commandment that they gave, yes indeed, not our God, our Most High. What do I mean by that? It says thy God is a jealous God. But in the very same breath, they tell you that the Most High is the all-knowing. So if this Most High God is the all-knowing, then you mean to tell me the creator of a bird, the creator of a tree, the creator of all the stars in the galactical universe, every life form that exists in between here and there and in between, is jealous? And if he or she or it, whatever you want to think it to be, is the all-knowing, then wouldn't this force that is almighty know that nothing should parallel it or him or she? And if indeed this knowledge is known, what would be the need to be jealous in the first place? Our Most High Deity is not jealous of nothing and or no one. For jealousy is the attribute of a man, and let no man deceive thee, is what I told you. Figure it out. Commandment meant for two men to have an intimacy. Oh, Lord, have mercy on them all. was stupidity. See, but in alchemy, I'll tell you tonight, 3 of its primary rules. 1, that which is not must be presented first, in order for that which is to be legitimized and come to be permanently. And 2, anything that stands in representation of a thing is indeed a thing. Now let's stop right there for a second. Because before we go to the 3rd, understand this, that on this side of the mirror, there will always be 2 things you can see and 1 you can't. You will see the solid. You will see the liquid, but you cannot see the gas. And they have gassed this alchemical plan and or scheme up with high octane, you see. And now it has grown legs and got up and started walking. And as they sang a song, these boots just gonna keep on walking, gonna walk all over you. And that's what they did too. What a shame, which is not an attribute of yours. Because ashes and ashes and dust to dust is an illegal act, meaning to cremate. No. And it is even more a violation to take those ashes and scream them into the waters of this blue rock. That is the breaking of a galactical law, of which we who are came here before their time and or story ever began in search of 2 galactical criminals to arrest for having broken. 1, Lucifer himself, for declaring that indeed he would destroy the cipher, which is the circle. And 2, Surrender, for having taken it upon himself to 1, manipulate the Akashic record, the book of life itself, not thinking that we who are would ever find out and or know. And 2, for violating the prime directive by messing with the life form that was here before we came. Because they took wives over all of which they chose Lucifer and his team, as well as Ashtar Command, those who at that time were close to Lucifer. Having established a means by which they allied themselves, aligned themselves. 2 armies. We are not fighting against 1. See why? How do you know? Well, this is a 3-dimensional world, which is why the 144,000 have yet to rise. But tonight, I will release the 3rd, because it says now the man has become like one of us. He knows, first thing, good. Second thing, evil. And the question is, what sat in the center of the good and evil that was spoken? Because if indeed it was only 2 things, the duality syndrome, then why has yet the mummies risen? 144,000 in number. And I'll tell you why. Because good and evil were only 2 things in the formula. They who are our adversaries, because we are not fighting an enemy. An enemy is your inner you. See? Enemy. Say it. And in that you'll start to see that you can become your own worst enemy from ever receiving those things you really need. And know we who are your elders and all the heavenly hosts are not concerned with the things you want. We're concerned with the things you need. And if you embrace that idealism or ideology thoroughly, then you will get those things you want, which is all centered around one thing only, if you're smart enough to figure it out, which is to be happy and to have peace. So, many have confused their wants with their needs. We know, because we know you all better than you all know yourselves. But it is in knowledge of self that you all can now come to know us and know all things. It's either you learn to turn within or you will continue to go without. And in this, know that the alchemy did not work, meaning Ashtar command for having assigned themselves a Most High deity, which was an illegal act. For this being did not win the election that is held to establish who is the Most High God. Brought into existence by, listen, display of mathematical ability and the most profound being who is given that opportunity to show and prove themselves to be. That is the Most High deity, and our Anu is an anomaly, wins the election every time. And let me say this, I'm not just playing the radio. Once every 24,000 years, our story must be renewed. But it cannot be renewed if indeed it is not told first in its entirety. And I am he who has been assigned to that job, employed by the Most High himself to do so. I am also the being and or angelic one, spoken of in Revelations 2:17, possession, having in my possession the hidden manna that will be hidden from you no more. I am also the one who will give you that new name, which no one else will know, but he or she who is the receiver of the name in a day to come. However, we are here in the now, and let's stay here, because this is where everything is happening. It is a gift to you all. How do you know? Because it's called the present, wrapped up in a nice little bow, like in Boaz, that which is above and that which is below. How could it be that you, in all these years, have seen these two symbols, the circle and the square, knowing them both to be 360 degrees, and knowing that mathematics is an exact science, and not ask the question as to why do they look different if they add up to be identical figures, identical numbers? Had you asked, you would have received the answer a long time ago. And it is centered around one thing, divine love. How it is supposed to be lived, dispersed, and experienced. And there are those who stand on the square of stupidity or ignorance. For it is by virtue of this ignorance that this planet is in the worst state now it has ever been. Here you go. What stands in between good and evil is the same thing that stands in between light and darkness, the same thing that stands in between God and your devil. And trust me when I tell you that what stands there is worse than the devil could ever be, because it will kill you thinking it is for love that it acts. What do I mean? What stands in between light and darkness is the confused. What stands in between good and evil is the confused. What stands in between God and the devil is the confused. Meaning they stand against fusion, not knowing that fusion, to fuse together as one, is a universal law, because universal means that it is inevitable that which versus you must unite with you, if indeed it is to live. Because you cannot take from the all, because to do so, it will no longer be the all. And you cannot add to the all, because if the all is present, where would you get it from? Then becomes the question. The all is, and no, that's not is that which is not and that which is. But it is that which is not and that which is. For 9 to the 9th power of 9 is infinite, having a majestical and all-merciful meaning of infinity, eternally divine, called divinity, mixed in real nicely with love, divine love, the highest caliber, supreme, for its meaning none can mute out. Now, figure it out. For time has run out a long time ago. Being broken down into units, you should already know, with all the right knowledge you've learned. First, you have seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks. The first they call a second. You didn't see that they were starting you out with something that was not all wise, right, and exact, because wrong is not spelled W-R-O-N-G. And no, a PhD is not higher than a master's, because you don't spell fat, P-H-A-T. And that is a fact. However, there will be times that are most appropriate, without question, if you are in the heat of the battle, that we who are your elders will not have time for that to prove it to you. Either you believe me or you don't. At that moment, because it will be to your advantage not to distract me, because in the alchemy, it is a very technical science. And if my hand shakes just a little, catastrophe that is catastrophic could occur. So if I tell you, move now, don't argue with me if you want to live, because we are at war. And don't forget, my Father came to answer these thy questions. Just as in the days of the Tower of Babel, it says that God came down and walked amongst them. And that wasn't me. I and my Father am one, no doubt. But without question also, there are things that you all know nothing about that would take eons to explain. And while in the heat of battle, no, I'm not here to answer questions, though I will, because I love you. I'm here to raise a sword and teach you all how to fight. Because this war is not fought with bullets and bombs. I'm here to teach you how to fight right the devil and Ashtar command. Those of you who belong to the army of Michael himself as soldiers of love, doing our best to stay alive. Yeah, you didn't know, now you do. That's who we are, because the war is fought over fertility. That's why the bunny rabbit, see, it stood in representation of that which is fertile. And why did the eggs have to be colored? I'll tell you why, because they are not. And each time you, a new being, on an Easter egg hunt, found one of those colored eggs, right there, we all got because our fertility was being transferred alchemically from our etheric net into theirs. And because they are hybrids, they cannot procreate themselves. They were just to doing the best they could. When you would see them on American Bandstand, that's how they did their intimate thing, husband and wife. Offbeat, out of rhythm, just could not figure out how to do it right. But then came along Britney Spears, the British and their spearhead. Studying Janet Jackson, you heard me, that's what I said. And, In Sync, who was so out of sync. And, new kids on the block. Yeah, that's right. And now watch out, because many Nubian women since then have stopped having babies. Go to your average bus stop and look around you. You will see, not like it was before. Used to be when you go to the average bus stop, you see a sister sitting there, and she got one in the shoulder, one holding on the side, one on the leg, one in the arm. Where they at now? You all do not realize how close you all came to being murdered. I mean, literally, forever. I'm talking about the type you don't come back from. Don't worry about the first death, child. Worry about the second one. That's where the lights go out and they don't ever come back on. But, yeah, we, in our infinite mercy towards you all, without question, we never have failed you and never will we. I want each of you to remember that hate is not the opposite of love. Fear is. And a child is born properly like this. 3 women. 2 handmaidens should be the pregnant woman's mother and sister, or 2 sisters, or whatever have you, should enter into an all-dark room. The pregnant mother with the, midwives. See, information, everything deals with the middle. And that's why it is I who sits in the center seat. And I'll explain, yes, that's right. That's the one that their Anu, the dum-dum, thought he could get away with. My seat, that is. Which is why you saw him on your grandmother's wall. With a diaper on, looking pious. No, I'll call it like it is, piece of shit. Because, no, he is not me. Though every story that you read was my life. And I'll tell you things about those stories without question, none can. Because as well as this information is that I will give to you, meaning as intricately as it is put together, if you think I got the time to sit around and fabricate something like that, think again, because no one can do that. And I have much better things to be doing with my time. And if indeed you think I am lying, as well as all this information will line up and confirmative flag one right after another will fly, as my father administers to your entire globe to let you know, you all will have everything you need to figure it out. If indeed you think that what it is I will say and or have said has been fabricated and or is not true, then that means, number one, someone can do it, can produce a story like that if indeed I did it. And what I will say to you all is to let me see any of you produce the likeness thereof. Take us all the way back to triple darkness. Bring us through the waters on up to the year 2000 and what? And don't skip a beat. Make it all line up. Make it make sense. See? Other than that, just sit down over there and shut up. Because in a real way, you don't know what you're talking about. And no, I'm not faking. I'm the real deal, Holyfield. I'm in. You've been waiting for 2,000 years. Figure it out. And I love you all. It's just why I'm taking the time to give you what belongs to you. It's called your inheritance. And here's what it is. The 3 that became the 1 is the confused. Profusion and confusion are 2 different things. And the confused, they're sick. Don't kick them to the curb. Show them love too, so that maybe they can be healed. Because the poor things are just confused, but they're dangerous. Dangerous to themselves and to you and your children. Now, because anyone who would say that it's all right to, listen, have a homosexual teaching in your classrooms here across the land of the U.S. of A., allowing your son or daughter to see that being, switch their butts back and forth, up and back to the blackboard, that parent is not intelligent. That parent is dumb. Because I don't care how many times two men lay together, never will it be fertile. Never. And so also with two women. That's just as dumb as it gets. Why? But it's only dumb in the sense that you were not the ones after fertility. They were. So they had to present that which was not first. Had to be the most unfertile situation ever to be thought of in order to bring them fertility. See? Which is why the eggs had to be colored and not white, because they're white and you're colored. So that which was not was in play. The element was met right there. And what stood in representation of the thing, fertility, was the bunny rabbit. And listen, Easter, Ashtar, same thing. And ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Why? Because that's how they procreated themselves. Because, again, what you think of clouds in your sky are not just clouds. They're not clouds at all. They're etheric nets of living beings. That's right, which is why Earth, Wind, and Fire said, keep thy head to the sky, for the clouds will tell you why. And they were ahead of their time, like in George Clinton, swing down, sweet chariot, stop. For it is we who sent down every word you hear in that which is R&B. And without question, to many mummies who are wrapped up in many things. Some coming alive, others still mentally dead. Why? Because again, now the man has become like one of us. He must know good, evil, and what sits in the center, the confused, and must be able to figure it out, meaning how not to be confused and how to make the right choice. And in this, you then have opportunity to be as one of us. See? Now, but it's not over there. Children will be born in a triple dark room. Listen, the midwives will go in and know the child will not be turned upside down. And it will be quiet in there. The child will not be spanked on the behind. The child will be put into the bosom of his mother. And the mother is to take her mouth and suck the mucus out of the child's nostrils and mouth and spit it to the floor and take the baby in her arms and say, Mama loves you. I'm your mama, and I will be with you all the days of your life. I love you. Do you hear me, child? You mine and I'm yours. That's right. And then divine love will be the first experience the physical being will experience after coming through the birth canal. And then after 72 hours, the father is to come in dressed in all black, having a very tiny little Christmas tree, like little, the ones, the little ones. Sit in the corner, my brother, and let him shine, let him shine. And your son or daughter will turn their little minds towards that light. And mama will say, you see that light? Don't be scared of that light. Because if that light try to do anything to my baby, I will stomp it out. But don't holler, mama. Stay real sweet. I will stomp it out. It's a bad light. Bad light. And then, Father, you ease on over, Put your hand on your wife. who would take your hand and put it on the child. And then let the mama say, this is your father. Introduce the father to the child for the very first time. And say, the father loves you. And so also do I. And then you speak, Father, representing the God men. Say, hi, peace be unto thee forever. I love you. And you take that child in your arms with the mother, the three of you, and you rock. In the dark now, then the transition from the etheric realm to the physical plane will not be so abrupt that the children go into shock. And nor, really, did you really think that the first emotion that you all experienced was love? No, it was fear. Why? Because there were giants in the earth in those days, to and for you. You remember, I know you do. The minute you first came out, well, yeah, you remember it. It's somewhere up in you now. Each of you, without question, what I'm saying is all wise, right, and exact. And the question becomes, if you were hung upside down, what was that demon trying to do? If I fill the cup, are you going to tell me you're going to do your very best to pour its content out? And what business did you have slapping mine on the behind? By virtue of a shock, not a spark. The eyes open? No. You were confused. You didn't know no better. And then the question becomes to all of you that I will now ask. Was the very first thing you saw and or had come to see right side up or upside down? And if you're being honest with me and honest with yourself, you will say that it was upside down. And I will say that's why you all are still seeing everything upside down now. You're upside down and alone. You're in the red, not in the green. And this is now about to be turned around because it is we who are reversing the polarity. And listen, the Rainbow Project has been completed some time ago. Look towards thy moon. You'll know. You'll see an orange first. Because orange is a neutral color. And keep in mind, the Golden Gate Bridge is not gold. We got them on that. And that's a fact. Why? Because it is orange, and no one ever took the time to say that. And yeah, many will make it out if indeed they are wise, and many Nubians over here are, without question. And the order will be to turn around and remember everything you see. And then thousands of us will walk from what place I'm standing to Phoenix, Arizona. And then from Phoenix, Arizona to Atlanta, we will all walk, not drive, breaking up concrete. And that will be the beginning of heaven here on thy earth. Tonight, those of you who are listening now know. And without question, these things will come to pass. For they are the truth, unadulterated. And when truth comes, it has the ability to knock the brains out of falsehood. The two can't occupy the same place. And always know that a lie has to be supported by 3 or 4 half-truths. First, the minute it was told, it would not be a convincing lie. Everyone would know. And real love leaves itself wide open, while fear will run and hide. Real love will give you the shirt off his back and ask you, does it match your pants? In fact, I have a nicer one in the closet, and you know, some dog, that belongs to you. That's you, man. You look nice in that. And never will real love throw in your face at a later time what it has done for you. But always know that real love will and always will produce something. It don't come playing the radio. It don't come with a lip service. Oh, I love you. I love you. Yeah, but let me need something to eat. Oh, I love you. I love you. Yeah, but let me need somewhere to go. That's that thing, that mutated form that you all have experienced too many times because of an illegitimate opposite having been fed to you. Love, hate is not the true and exact opposite of love. Hate is like a match. It depends upon the intent of its striker. If you strike a match, what if I hate catching a cold? What if I hate negativity? What if I hate bloodshed? What if I hate everything that is wrong happening to the children that should not be happening? Is hate seen under that type of light a bad thing? No. See, because you can take a match and strike it, and with a particular type of intent, choose to throw it into a fireplace. And it becomes a beautiful thing. You can tell the children to gather around. We could even roast marshmallows and laugh out loud. Or you can take that same match with a different type of intent and strike it, and instead of doing that, burn the house down. So, yeah, they got us on that, y'all. They got you all. And that's why I'm here now to straighten it out. Always know that in their atmosphere, that's them at their most state of fear of us. And then you have the northern and southern hemisphere, him and his fear of us. And then you have stratosphere, which is those who straddle the fence in between divine love and fear. They're the wobblers amongst us. And you all, because, we want all the real ones. Y'all know who y'all. Y'all going to attract to this like pieces of steel to a magnet. Don't worry, Bodie. Who's ever meant there going to be, no doubt. Meant to be there, they're going to be there. Trust me when I say what I say. And those who are not meant to be won't. So, all real brothers, y'all, all those who want to live, come stand over here with me. All those who don't want to live, on the Hope to Die mission, you know who you are. Y'all go stand over there. You see? Because y'all ain't going to be nothing but in the way. You see? Because, listen, our people are all looking for the same thing, an escape from a bondage that they don't even know they're in, poor things. And the truth of the matter is, they ain't scared of dying. They're scared of living. Failure, as they're not scared of that, they're scared of success. Because failure has become an everyday part of their life, poor things, who were once rich and have now been robbed. I ain't having it no more. Ain't none of mine going to live beneath the poverty line. Not one. Ever again. Because come the Sermon on the Mount, I'm not going to give you a fish sandwich. I'm going to teach you how to fish and become like one of us. Okay.